Hello, I would like to speak to all North American fans who I would like to meet when I was planning to attend the Murmures d'Outre-Tombe, Whispers from Beyond the Grave, with artists like Daniel Corcuera, Mark Riddick, Raphael, some other artists. It's been an exhibition curated by Ariella. I'm represented in the US by Nino Meija, and I would like to speak to all of you now from Portugal. So I'm at the moment at Vimaranes Metallvm festival, but my thoughts are with all of you, and I really wanted to have my presence in a certain way to talk to all of you US fans. So I would like to talk a little bit how came the origin of a band logo. Is a reason to identify yourself through your music, lyrical concept, visual concept. A black metal logo will be more unreadable, like a heavy metal logo will be more clean and direct. The origins of logos, like you see Iron Maiden, King Diamond, Candlemass, are very simple logos because the bands have a very direct way and very honest way of playing metal. But then it started to become more complicated in the mid-80s with logos like Possessed, Venom, and that's also the way in the mid-80s that I started getting interested in wanting to draw logos. I'd like to talk about different logos, like the black metal logos, like logos of Celtic Frost, logos of Dark Throne, that gives this kind of obscure feeling throughout the band, and that is really where I started feeling the need to draw logos. But I also found the need in the 2000s to create something new, to have a real contribution and take inspiration from different art movements and apply them into my logos, and I've done it quite successfully. As in the book Lord of the Logos, I have explored art movements and style movements like Art Deco, Art Nouveau, Cubism, Futurism, Depressive Modern, Vintage Style. This has also been kind of fed in a certain way with the latest visits in the US. The first one is in 2007, where my eyes had a very strong attention to Art Deco and occasionally Art Nouveau monuments, like in New York, San Francisco. Some artists like Timothy Flügger has been a very important influence, especially in the mid of 2005, 2006, 2007, when I really got interested into Art Deco. And this is where I wanted to say how US has become a kind of influence, but also an interaction when it goes to art. And I've actually taken part of in important exhibitions like the graphic design now in production that has gone through Minneapolis, New York, Los Angeles. It's been a kind of 8-day touring event with a lot of very well-known graphic designer. The importance when I'm working on a band is to understand what the band is looking, but also to create something original. This is something I'm going to talk in the second part of the exposé. So cut. The second part of this exposé for the Murmures d'Outre-Tombe, Whispers from Beyond the Grave, is going to be how it's important to understand the client, and is a kind of message to all these new artists who want to venture into drawing logos. The first one is to understand the client. To understand the client when it goes to the band is first to understand what the client is looking for, and the music is a necessary ingredient, but it's not sufficient to get the logo right. The sketches is a kind of way to guide and to see what the band wants, but it's not sufficient because a pencil sketch doesn't give an idea of what a final product is. The second ingredient is the concept, lyrical and visual aspect of the band. I must say here that a death metal band may not want a death metal logo. I had already experienced brutal death metal bands who wanted a very clean Art Deco type of logo with no fioriture, no kinds of bleeding, just a very epurated Art Deco, clean, crisp logos like back in the late 20s. So that is the very important, is to ask the question what the client is looking for. Maybe they also want to have several type of logos, like it's been a case of a band called Non-Slaughter, who actually have about 160 different logos done by about 35 different artists. I did myself for Non-Slaughter about 7 different logos. Some bands want just to have one and only one unique logos, like for example Creator or Possessed. They have one logo that identify themselves. Not all the bands want to have several visuals, but there are bands and even not bands or clothing companies like for example Animal or Quicksilver or Billabong. They want to have different type of logos. They do lots of different collections of clothing, and I have been speaking about the aesthetics of logos. Some bands or some clothing companies, they like to have a wide variety of aesthetics. They like to have different logos from different artists, but other bands or other companies, they just like to have one unique logos. Now the last part I wanted to say is what are the future plans I have. The future plans is I have plans to release the second book, which gonna be the follow-up of Lord of the Logos. It has a working title of Ancient Modernism. It will be based on the experiences and on the 2 exhibitions I had last year in New Zealand. It's going to be not just only my work, but it's also going to be the work of different artists, altogether 6 artists who have joined me in some kind of ventures. I must say I have collaborated on logos with different artists like Jared Holland, Adam Kingsman, who are in parting of the book Ancient Modernism, which is due to be released next year. There is also Kerry May Zagrobelna from Wellington. There is also Alex Brown, who exhibited a few years ago at the same gallery that I'm exhibiting right now. So it's quite a few people that may be well known to you. In total, I have worked with different artists like Dennis Hughes from Colorado, like Nino Meija from California, Raoul Gozerian from Italy and New York. Working together with different logos, logo artists, sometimes it's get a genius. Sometimes I have difficult to understand a client, so a colleague artist comes up with a draft done in 2 minutes, and I say, wow, that is exactly what I wanted to put on paper, but it didn't let me put on paper. So I find that collaborative logos, even some collaborative logos with artists like Chris Horst, where I've worked for bands like Midnight Odyssey, for example, or collaborative logos with Dennis Hughes. Like I worked together on the logo of a Portuguese band called Vulpus, which is going to be playing at the Vimaranes Metallvm festival. And Dennis Hughes from Colorado, he just came with a very quick and brief sketch of what Vulpus have explained me in a very long brief. And when I saw that, I said, this is what I wanted to put on paper, but it didn't come to me. It didn't click. So basically, I used this work base to work further on the Vulpus logo, and so came the Vulpus logo that you can see on the poster of this edition of the Vimaranes Metallvm Festival. I'm talking right now from Vimaranes, from the venue called Ultimatum, and I would like to give everybody a very warm embrace. I would love to be here with all of you American fans. I would love to share this very special moment with you, but unfortunately it hasn't been possible due to reasons which have been beyond my power. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Muito obrigado.